And the reason is that in our counting system, and there are other counting systems, but in our there's so many cool counting systems, you don't even want to know.
There are some really cool number systems out there, and in fact, we are stuck with the decimal system when in fact we could have chosen other systems based on other bases that would have made arithmetic a little easier on us in several ways. We ended up with the decimal system because, well, most of us have 10 fingers in our hands, but even with 10 fingers, we could have chosen a different number system that would allow us to count a lot farther, or a system where fractions, common fractions, would have easier expressions than with a decimal system. For example, we could have used base 2, or we could have used base 6. Base 6 has the advantage that very common fractions as a half, a third, a fourth, a sixth, 2/3, all of those have finite decimal expansions in base 6, unlike base 10, where a common fraction such as a third has an infinite decimal expansion, 0.3 repeating. In decimal expansions, the fractions that are simple, that have a finite expansion, are a half, but then also a fifth and a tenth. And who uses a fifth? We would be much better off having a third having a finite decimal expansion. If we had base 6, we could count up to 35 with our hands easily, because in one hand we could just use the units, so 0 through 5, and then in the other hand it could count the multiples of 6. So these would be 6, and then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and so on, up to 35. But of course, if you want to be able to count really far just with your fingers, then you want base 2. Because if we use our hands to indicate digits in base 2, then this could be the units, this could be the multiples of 2, multiples of 4, of 8, 16, and so on. And this would indicate 2 to the 11 minus 1, which is 2047.